while you sleeping, I'm working, and I'm double working because I'm out here producing for you because I want to, totally want to. But I'm doing this for you, so appreciate that.
You brought this on yourself.
Just like I appreciate the fact that Anderson Silva won an actual fully sanctioned boxing match in Mexico against one of the biggest names in Mexican boxing currently, although his accomplishments haven't been anywhere near his father's. He was a former super middleweight champion, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., and he was a punch or two or three away from becoming the lineal 160-pound champion, almost defeating Sergio Martinez in the 12th round, which was like a callback to his father's fight against Meldrick Taylor. So he is definitely a culpable boxer. He obviously isn't at the top. He most likely not top 10, not top 15 or anything like that. But if you're comparing it to Anderson Silva, that's exactly the case for Anderson Silva. I don't believe he's a top 10, top 15 middleweight in 2021. And I mean that across MMA. Considering Bellator, UFC, PFL's producing a bunch of great fighters. So all things considered, I truly believe that Anderson Silva is nowhere near his prime. It's not that I believe, it's just absolute fact. He's 46 years old. And the fact of the matter is that was not an exhibition match. I'm going to repeat that. That was not an exhibition match. It was a completely sanctioned boxing match. So considering all of that, you have to give Anderson Silva full credit. He didn't step in and fight a no-name. He stepped in and fought, especially considering his own experience level. He fought an extremely formidable opponent who is a former super middleweight champion in Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. He has a huge name in boxing due to his father's career. And remember, he was only a punch or two or three away from finishing Sergio Martinez in order to become the lineal 160-pound champion. So when you're considering their current standings, I don't believe neither in their respective sports are top 15, top 20 even. So both of them are far out of the top fighters in their own respective divisions. However, Silva always produces a decent fight. Win, lose, or draw, he's never dominated. He's always producing high moments. And Julio Cesar Chavez is pretty much a guy who can only produce little, small, big moments. He was dominated against when he fought Sergio Martinez, and then he almost knocked him out towards the end. So this is a great comparison between MMA and boxing. You have a pure striker in Anderson Silva who can hit you with his kneecaps, his elbows, his head even. I'm sure if they had headbutts lit the way, he would lit the way your ass with his headbutt. So Anderson Silva has proven the hands of an MMA fighter. MMA fighters train boxing, hand-to-hand combat, literally, every day. It's an all-encompassing sport. It fully encompasses all the aspects of boxing. Muay Thai, wrestling, judo, all those concepts, jiu-jitsu, and melds it together to create the sport of mixed martial arts. So I believe Jake Paul should be pissing in his pants right now, because when he sees the difference between Tyron Woodley and Ben Askren, it's going to be absolute hilarity. So let's just wait for it, and I can't wait to see that my damn self. But anyway, what I really wanted to bring to this conversation is that this is a huge deal what Anderson Silva was able to do. To go to Mexico, win a decision, right, that was so clear that you cannot rob him, and they still trying to rob him. Julio Cesar Chavez is over here saying that it could have been a draw. Absolutely ridiculous. Anderson Silva dominated, and that is a wonderful thing. And what I really want to highlight is specific points in which he dominated. He dominated the outside game, the inside game. He had wonderful head movement at points. He looked really comfortable with his hands down. His uppercuts towards the inside and his ability to use his elbows in order to push off. I know in some moments he did use the elbow as a strike, but I don't think that was purposely done. I think that was out of pure muscle memory. So understand that Julio Cesar Chavez was truly trying to put himself into the big fights again. So remember, it was not like he was taking this guy easy. although we understand Chavez Jr. lacks, real discipline, we did see him in the gym constantly. And it wasn't even a competitive fight. It was a complete domination. Chavez Jr. could not open up, because if he did, he was either going to get hit with the jab or the counter left hand. And Anderson Silva was using wonderful head movement, wonderful feet work, and he just shows you that the fundamentals of striking can be utilized in boxing. And don't forget, he did have an advantage. Yes, does he have an advantage in the ring? He absolutely did. He doesn't fight at the rhythm of a boxer, doesn't fight with the same angles as a boxer. He feels comfortable in a larger distance. In mixed martial arts, you're fighting at a larger distance, at a farther distance even, because there's kicks you have to consider. So you have to stay out of kicking range and punching range. So Anderson Silva was fully comfortable with coming in and out, which is why you saw so many wonderful counter shots from Anderson Silva. He was able to fine-tune some of that counter ability at 46 years old in a fully sanctioned boxing match. Man, this is completely insane, and I'm pretty impressed, obviously, as you can hear. And this just shows you that MMA is where the biggest and best fighters are, and they have the biggest hearts. They go over to other sports and to actually see, we've had some wins, we've had some losses. Frank Mir competed valiantly and produced a great fight against Steve Cunningham. So MMA guys are producing wonderful events. And I love the fact that female boxers are coming over to MMA and trying to prove themselves, because obviously seeing that female boxers are coming over to MMA, it shows you where the dynamics, the main dynamics of the sport is for female fighters, which is mixed martial arts. That is the hub of the most popular female fighters. For the male counterparts, that can definitely, like with Conor McGregor, the line was blurred, but for the most part, boxing is where the biggest male fighters are. And that's why you're seeing a lot of mixed martial artists going over to boxing, because they can make a boatload of money. You're going to see that with Tyron Woodley and Jake Paul. You saw that with Frank Mir and Steve Cunningham. You saw that with Conor McGregor, of course, with Floyd Mayweather, which is considered, if not the biggest, second biggest fight in boxing history. So I'm very impressed by these mixed martial artists having the heart in order to come over, and even the female fighters like Amanda Serrano and Clarissa Shields having the heart and the fortitude to come over to another sport and proving yourself. I think that's a wonderful thing. And Anderson Silva got the respect of Canelo. He got the respect of myself. And please show that man respect. That's an absolute legend. And we miss you at the UFC. We're going to miss him everywhere that he performed. And just think about the fact that he made Brazil extremely proud. He made the Ultimate Fight fans proud. And we look forward to seeing him in another boxing match. And this pretty much sets up the Roy Jones fight. So as long as they're both not showboating at the exact same time, right? They both got their hands down. They're both like this in the middle of the ring with their hands down. I believe that fight can produce extreme fireworks, and I look forward to it. Like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to drop your feedback, guys. Peace out.